The A's are batting with 2 men on, Piscotty on second and Profar on first as we go to the top of the second. Cleveland leading 1-0 in that game. Bassett against Bauer. Bassett's already walked 3 hitters in that game, so it looks like he's struggling with some command. But anyway, let's look at the rest of the games on the schedule, go through those, and give you some lineups. The Phillies tonight are in Chicago once again. McCutchen, Segura, Harper, Hoskins, Realmuto catching, Cesar Hernandez, Scott Kingery in center, Maikel Franco, and Zach Eflin with a 5-4 record, 2.89 ERA. Face off against the Cubbies. The Little Bears will lead off with Kyle Schwarber in left, Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Wilson Contreras catching, Jason Hayward, Albert Almora Jr., Daniel Descalso at second, Addison Russell at short, and Jose Quintana in his 4-3, 3.68 ERA record. That's the Cubs against the Phillies. The line in that one is 7, and I'm going to take over in that game tonight in Chicago. The wind blowing strong from right to left. In Baltimore tonight at 7:05, the Yankees and Domingo Germán with his league-leading 8 wins against David Hess and his league-not-leading wins 1 against the Yankees. The Yankee lineup, DJ LeMahieu, Luke Voigt, Gary Sanchez is DHing tonight, Aaron Hicks, Gleyber Torres, Gio Urshela at third, Clint Frazier is in right, Cameron Maberman in left, and Austin Romine catching. For the homestanding Birds of Baltimore, Stevie Wilkerson, the switch hitters in center field, Dwight Smith, Trey Mancini, Rio Ruiz, Jonathan Villar at short, Chris Davis is at first base, Renato Nunez is DHing, Hanser Alberto at second, and Austin Wynns is catching. The over and under in that is 9.5, and I'm going over on the over-under in Baltimore tonight. Colorado at Pittsburgh at 7:05. Germán Marquez against Chris Archer. For the Rockies, Blackman, Story, Dahl, Arenado, McMahon at second, Murphy at first, Ian Desmond, Tony Waters. Germán Marquez is 4-2, and he'll face off against the Pirate lineup, which leads off with Adam Frazier at second, Starling Marte in center, Brian Reynolds in left, Polanco a late scratch in that one, Josh Bell at first. Boy, he's been hitting, hasn't he? Melky Cabrera in right, Cullen Moran at third, Cervelli catching, Cole Tucker at shortstop, and Chris Archer pitching. He's 1-3 with a 5.58 ERA. I want to pause a minute and just say, do you think Pittsburgh is regretting that trade? Don't you know they are? Colorado and Pittsburgh, the over-under is 7.5. I just got to go with the over in that one with those two teams. At 7:07, Boston is at Rogers Center in Toronto to take on the Jays. Eduardo Rodriguez, 4-2 with a 4.89 ERA. Squares off against Marcus Stroman, 1-6, but an ERA of only 2.95. The lineup for Boston: Benintendi, Betts, Moreland DHing, Bogarts, Devers, Chavez, Vasquez, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Steve Pearce at first. For Toronto, Jonathan Davis in center, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Justin Smoke, Rowdy Tellez, Randall Grichuk, Freddie Galvis, Billy McKinney, Danny Jansen, and Brandon Drury batting ninth. In Tampa tonight, the Dodgers and the Rays, Clayton Kershaw, 3-0 with a 3.40 ERA, squares off against the opener, Hunter Wood, Matt Beattie, the DH, leading off for the Dodgers, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, Cody Bellinger, Enrique Hernandez, Corey Seager, Chris Taylor, Alex Verdugo, and Austin Barnes. And just talking about that Tampa Bay-Pittsburgh trade for Chris Archer, here's Austin Meadows, DHing and leading off for the Rays, Tommy Pham, G-Man Choi, Avisel Garcia, Travis d'Arnaud, Brandon Lau, Daniel Robertson, Guillermo Heredia, and Willie Adames. So I'll just give you the rest of the starting pitchers. Miami, Caleb Smith. At Detroit, Spencer Turnbull. The over and under there, 7.5. Washington, Eric Fetty. At New York, Zach Wheeler. The over and under there is 7.5. And go and look at the stat line on how Zach Wheeler pitches when he's pitching against Washington and how he pitches when he's pitching against everyone else. Because of that, the over and under is 7.5. Take the over tonight in New York between Washington and New York. At 7:40, the Reds are in Milwaukee. Sonny Gray, 0-4 with a 4.30 ERA against Gio Gonzalez, 2-0 to 1.69 ERA. At 8:05, Seattle, Tommy Malone, gas fire about to happen in Texas tonight against Lance Lynn. The over and under is 11.5. Believe it or not, I want to go over in that one. Texas will annihilate Seattle, and I believe, we'll see if I'm right, and I got to love those Texas bats tonight. In Houston, Chicago at the Astros, Dylan Covey against Justin Verlander. Go with Houston and the under 8.5. The Kansas City-St. Louis game is rained out. Atlanta is in San Fran to take on the Giants. Julio Teheran against Sean Anderson. Over and under is 8. The wind is blowing out at 18 miles per hour. I'm going over tonight in San Francisco. Minnesota at Anaheim. Michael Pineda, 5.55 ERA against Trevor Cahill, 6.95 ERA. And the over and under is 9. And I think Mr. Trout could have a big night tonight. And so I'm going with the over in Anaheim. Finally, Arizona's at San Diego. Zach Greinke against Matt Strom. The over and under is 7. I think that could go under. So there you go. Those are the lineups for tonight. It's a big slate. We've covered a lot of information this afternoon. Let me give it a quick look at on the... And I appreciate you guys being with me today. You know, this network is just incredible. Let's go through the lineup tonight. I want to thank Lenny and Andrea for giving me this opportunity. Cam did a great job at 5:30. Chappie's on at 7. I think Lenny will be back on at 8. Chappie and I are back on at 9. And Easy Kill around the table are at 10 o'clock tonight. So that's our lineup for the rest of the night. I'm going to get out of here a little bit early. Chappie, you have plenty of time for your show. No rush. You can take your time, grab you some dinner, and then we'll be back on to talk about some players. We'll just take turns tonight. We're going to talk about different ones, and you may have questions. Again, write this number down, guys, 919-922-9093. You can call in anytime. You can post questions. We're going to go over it. We're going to cover it all because that's what we do here on Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports.